Did you ever meet Rodney? I would have loved to meet him.
I only shook Rodney's hand a couple of times at the Laugh Factory, but Rodney's my favorite.
Oh yeah,
Me too.
He hosted Mad TV when I was there, and he which was he said to me, "Hey kid, you play craps?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Life is like craps. Just don't crap out."
Hey,
That's what he said.
Hey kid, life is like crap.
Did you ever think about trying to write for him? Like, you know, I mean, because you would have been perfect for that.
I don't think I could have wrote jokes that good.
I wish I would have met him.
Who did write a lot? Was Harry Basil was a guy? I mean, did Rodney write a lot of those jokes?
I don't know. You know, Rodney, I think, was always. I believe that Rodney was writing jokes for people as a young.
Yeah,
so he kind of got
Jackie
all
Roy.
that. Yeah, but I don't know. I think Rodney probably had some help, but nobody could teach that delivery.
No.
Nah, yeah, Robert Wall has that story where he tried to run up to him at an airport and like do jokes that he wrote from, but he would do a Rodney impression while hey, I got one. And he goes, "Hey, okay, leave the act to me," you know.
I do a podcast from my basement in my house in L.A.
Right.
And I always ask the guests about like how do you get through life when times are tough and that kind of thing.
Right.
And for me, it's typing Rodney Dangerfield into YouTube.
Yeah.
I know all the jokes. I don't need to listen to the jokes.
The old Carsons.
And I would just, his voice to me is like listening to the blues.
Yeah.
Like it just fills me with like.
Or you know, like an Easy Money. The great thing about him in a movie is he's not even trying. He's just basically doing stand-up. Like his mother-in-law in Easy Money, when she goes, "You can barely stand erect. You reek of liquor." And he's like waiting to say his line. Like he's looking at it, and he goes, "Oh yeah, well, you were the inspiration for Twin Beds."
Yeah, I'll tell you.
I liked him in My Five Wives, the movie he did with Dice.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but he just didn't even try. He was always him.
Hey,
but
I'll tell you, my wife's a bad cook. I don't know, meatloaf was supposed to glow in the dark. In my house, we pray after we eat. I mean,
the flies got together and fixed the screen door.
Yeah. My friend Lucas gave me a Rodney Dangerfield doll.
Yeah.
Where you press a button and he tells jokes.
Fantastic.
So it's like having a pal.
He was, he was like, you know, I was having this discussion with somebody. There's no older, like when we were teenagers, he was a 60-year-old rock star.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's no
Gives me hope.
That's what I'm saying. There's no real guy like that anymore.
No.
Where I mean, he was like the Rolling Stones at 60 years old.
Right. He was. Maybe it's because I didn't know him so well. I know Saget knew him, of course. Maybe it's because we didn't know him so well that I still kind of hold him in a special place.
There's a lot of crazy stories about him, but he seemed like a sad guy.
Oh.
You know. And you know, a lot of drugs, but he did the, you know, it's funny you said it. He did the Stern Show about 6 months before he died, and the commercial came, and Howard said, "Great job, Rodney," and he put his head down, like really completely serious, and said, "It could have been funnier. I could have like he really could tell. I guess he was just like that self-loathing thing. But I thought he was kidding, but he was really like hard on himself, and he just destroyed.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it sucks.
And do you even need him to be funny at that point? Don't you just kind of want to hear about his life?
It's like he's just rolling in, you know.
Oh, jeez. You know what? I think part of it was that this happened to Buddy Hackett. It happened to Shecky Green.
I wish I would have met Buddy.
They got stage fright at a certain age.
Yeah.
Comedians start to get stage fright. Like
really?
Yeah, I've seen that happen with a few older guys.
You mean like, you think it's afraid because the audiences are changing, or
I don't know if they don't have the same confidence in hitting the marks that they used to.
Because it seems like a young. Well, first of all, it's all timing and it's some energy, but it's a young. You do feel like comedy's a young person's game.
And think about what guys like Rodney went through on the Tonight Show, where every joke was approved.
I
and
know. Yeah,
you know, everything was so
that seems like
specific
stress, man.
and. So they probably were always, they had to put themselves under that sort of scrutiny.
But now that's happening again. I did stand up on the Tonight Show about 5 years ago, and they, you know, I mean, my God, again with the PC shit, they were fucking, it was crazy. Like, you know, they had to approve it 50. It sounds like it's going back. It wasn't like that for a while.
See, this is why, to go back to earlier in the conversation, guys, like you talk about these times, if they affect me. And I don't know how you're feeling that, but in a way, it enhances and makes what we do edgy comedy, whatever you want to call it, more special.
Absolutely.
Because our fans and real people who really need a laugh, they don't want it watered down.
They don't give a shit.
Let's just say comedy's the best medicine. You've heard that, right, before? Would you want your medicine watered down?
No.
You want your medicine potent.
Nah,
you want your jokes potent.
Yeah, well, 44 all the way.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people go through shit like they work at an insurance company. And they can't, the boss reads their emails and they might get fired because they said something wrong on social media. If you go to a comedy club, don't you want to see a guy who doesn't have to fucking live by those rules?
Yeah.
You want to see someone who's saying shit that you can't hear anywhere else.
Well, that's why you got to give props to the places that still let you do that. Podcast, Comedy Central, Netflix, a couple other places that are even if they're corporate, they're letting the comics speak what they want.
Podcasting it's amazing. When the Stern Show went to Sirius, again, we still had sponsors and shit like that. And, Howard could get away with anything. But podcasting really is an open world.